Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and yes, it has happened. EA and Codemasters, after the latest patch, I do believe, which is patch 1.12, has unfortunately wiped every person who has a copy of F1 23, and that includes everyone on Steam, on Xbox and PlayStation. All of their false feedback settings, all their steering wheel settings, and anyone who doesn't use a standard configuration on a controller, all those settings have been wiped from the game. Thankfully, your save files are still intact, so they must be stored somewhere else. But yes, everyone's settings have now been reset to basically the default that you get when you first fire up the game. Now, I only found this out while I was about to do a league race, and I was in a ridiculous situation where I was actually live in a race at Monaco, actually as an AI, paused while I was trying to sort out the controller settings. Now, what I usually do is whenever I get a new F1 game, I usually spend about the first hour setting up the controller settings, and that is it. That is it as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not going to sit there and write down all those settings. And I know a lot of people have just been looking at the forums today. A lot of people have said the same thing. We're not prepared to sit there, take screenshots of everything or start writing down all our settings, because as far as we're concerned, you know, it's done and it should be saved permanently. We shouldn't have to now get into a situation where everything has now been wiped. But I also understand from the forums that this happens a lot in the FIFA games. So my sympathies go out to you if you lose all the settings on that. But this is the first time, I think, that it has happened in the Formula 1 games. I was so enraged last night that I put on F1 2010 on the PS3. Yes, now I have a different controller configuration on every single F1 game because I use a manual gearbox, and I always use triangle to go up through the gears, which of course none of the F1 games actually support that, so you had to change the configuration. And I went on to F1 2010, and lo and behold, my configuration for the controller was still on that game, which is what, 15 years ago. Still all set up and all ready to go. And it's just a ridiculous state of affairs that has happened with this latest patch. I've never in all my time seen anything happen like this. I just really haven't. It's just a sorry state of affairs. I'm just wondering now, who the hell is doing these patches? Is this actually the team who made the game, or have they just left it now to the work experience lad? You know, it's just like, here you go, Clive. Go and do the patches now, but don't you fuck it up, or I'll tell you, we'll take away your lunch money. We'll take away your lunch money, because this is what it's just sounding like now. Surely the people who designed, wrote, and did the coding on this game certainly didn't come out with that patch last night. Surely not. Please tell me that isn't the case, because it's just a ridiculous state of affairs now. And everyone knows my passion, my enthusiasm for F1 games. It's basically why this channel is in existence, for F1 games and other stuff as well, comedy, but mostly for F1 games. But I am really, really now losing the enthusiasm. I really am. I just, I'm just getting to such a low point now. And looking through all the forums, there doesn't seem to be anything from Codemasters, no kind of response or anything, which is not good when you go back to the old days. I remember talking to Jenny from Codemasters, who was at the time the community social manager. I remember talking to her, any problems, and she'd always get back to you, even if she was really busy. And she used to get a lot of messages and a lot of hate as well, which was completely unwarranted. But she used to get a lot of messages, and she'd always come back to me in maybe a private chat, or on Twitter or an open chat. It doesn't matter. But there just seems to be no one at Codemasters who seems bothered or seems to care about this game or future games going forward. I couldn't find anything directly from Codemasters themselves. They may now have a statement out, I've no idea, but at the time when I was looking, which was early this morning, I didn't see anything from Codemasters. All I saw was from a moderator who may or may not be connected with Codemasters. I really have no idea, but he said, and I quote, that this condition only affects everyone locally, which basically means it only affects you. So it's not like a nationwide outage of the game, and they'll be able to bring it all back. Unfortunately, he also went on to say that this is irreversible. So all those settings that you had on your controller, your steering wheel, I know some people build up these settings over weeks and weeks after getting the game, like the force feedback and the settings for saturation and all that. You know, they slowly build those settings up, and I'm pretty sure that they didn't save them, because I didn't. I just, you know, why would you need to? Because it's always been there all the time. And so, yeah, you've lost all of that now, and you've basically got to start again from scratch. This is a very sorry state of affairs, but unfortunately, 2 years ago, if anyone saw that video, it's up on my channel somewhere, so go and have a look in the library or whatever. I warned everyone that this was going to happen, and I said that EA was going to completely muck up the F1 game series, and they have. And even worse news now is that with the latest patch, the cars are once again not equal anymore. I'm lost for words. I really am. I've also seen on Twitter today, a lot of the big F1 leagues have announced that they've cancelled their races because of the unequal cars, and some of them have even postponed their championships indefinitely. I mean, this is just the sad state of affair that we're in now. They're just, you know, big leagues. I mean, some of these big leagues, you know, they generate quite a lot of, you know, sort of interest on YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that. And to say that, you know, that's it, we're done at the moment because of the unequal cars again. I mean, when I was in that race last night at Monaco, the car just felt absolutely atrocious. It literally felt like I was dragging an anchor going along. I don't know what, but as the settings were all messed up anyway, I'm just saying that. And of course, now we find out that the cars weren't even of equal performance during that race anyway. It's just, oh my god, it's just ridiculous. Now, unfortunately, we were having problems with the PlayStation Network last night as well, which is, I think, unrelated to the patch that came out, but who knows, to be honest. But yeah, so there was lots of problems going on during that, so we can't really sort of say what happened, but to me, the car just felt ridiculous. And the hand of the cars, it seems to be going back to F1 22 handling the game last year. I just don't get it. I just really don't get it. The cars are starting to feel dreadful again. I've actually gone back to full traction control because the medium, I'm getting absolutely ousted by people behind me on full traction, and I'm on medium, and it's just ridiculous because they can just gun it around the circuit like it's Sky Electrics, basically. And no disrespect to the people who are on the full traction. If that's what they're using, then good luck to you, really. But it's basically you just go along like you're on a Sky Electrics track. And so I've started to do that because I was just getting trounced by them because I was on medium, and obviously I was having to be careful going to the corners that you don't sort of let the back end of the car go out. But, oh God, it's just a sorry state of affairs. It really is. I just feel that Codemasters have just given up. I'm sure now that they've moved on to this WRC game, which comes out in a few months' time using their fancy Unreal Engine, of course, and they've just given up on this F1 game because that is such a schoolboy error with that latest patch that I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it. I have never, in any of the Formula 1 games, lost any of the controller settings and had to reset again. I never. Now, even the crap ones have saved the settings. It's just ridiculous. It really is. And a very sad state of affairs. And going forward into F1 24, which there are a lot of rumours that that could be using the Unreal Engine. Well, they need to sort the fundamental basics of the game out first before they start any of this. Because this is just ridiculous. It really is. I'm lost for words. And that's very unusual for me. Usually I've got lots to say about everything. But I am just lost for words. It's just, as I say, I've never seen a game where all the settings for your controller and your steering wheels, because as I say, people, you know, set those up over months and months. It's just been wiped overnight, and it's irreversible. It is irreversible. Now, maybe Codemasters may be able to come up with a fix for that. I don't know, but at the moment, it's irreversible. It doesn't matter what you do. Obviously, as soon as you start playing the game, you've got to have that patch installed, and it wipes everything. And so there's no way out of it. No way out of it at all. So yeah, a very sad state of affairs. This is not a video I like to make. I like to make the comedy videos and the piss taking out of other channels and stuff like that. those are the ones that draw me to passion. But of course, as everyone knows, my ultimate passion is these F1 games, and it's the sole reason why this channel is in existence. So everything aside, like, put all the comedy aside and whatever, it's these games that, it's my core. It's in my core, and my core is just hurting now. It's really hurting. Mainly because, as people have pointed out to me, because I haven't seen that video I made a couple of years ago for quite a while, but lots of people have pointed out to me that pretty much every prediction I made in that video has now come true. Pretty much everyone has come true. I said that when EA took over that this was a very bad situation for the F1 games, and sadly I've been proved right. But on this occasion, I don't like to be proved right, because I was hoping that actually this was going to be an improvement to what Codemasters were doing. Because Codemasters, you always felt that the ambition was there, but unfortunately they just weren't big enough as a studio to actually, manage to expand on their F1 game series. So I just thought that, once EA with all the big money and whatever you took it over, that there would be an improvement. But there's definitely not an improvement. This is a downgrade. And EA, like pretty much all of the game series that they've either taken over, the studios they've taken over, seem fit to just want to destroy anything. I just don't get it. They just want to milk it for a couple of years for all they can and then get rid of it. And that's just the EA way, unfortunately. And it's very sad to see. Very sad to see. And now, in regards to F1 games going forward, well, obviously there will be F1 games going forward. What state they're going to be in, I don't know. I really don't know. And the other thing you got to think is if it does get to a point where nobody's going to be buying these games anymore, because I think it's time that the public now rose up and said, you know what, we've had enough. We've had enough. We need some kind of revolution now in regard to the F1 games. We need to stand up and just not buy F1 24, to be honest. I know I probably shouldn't be saying that, but if it's the only way we're going to get a decent game now, then it needs to happen. We need to stop buying these games, and then Codemasters will see that there's a fundamental problem and hopefully sort it out. But it's a very sad state of affairs, especially as I've been through every single one of these F1 games, especially on Codemasters since F1 2010, and last night was just a total disaster, absolute disaster. And I'm in a great league with a great bunch of lads. I can only sympathise with people who are running really big leagues out there, with really experienced and great drivers. That this kind of thing comes along, because that affected me really badly in the race last night. I can imagine what that affects big leagues, that get lots of viewers and whatever. It's a very sad state of affairs for the F1 game series. And going forward, I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, everyone. You have been awesome. And I'll catch you in the next video.